showing you how can we create a console rock paper scissors application using GoLang and through the test driven development process. So test driven development is basically a software development process in which first we write tests and then we write the code to pass the test. This ensures that each and every piece of code and logic is well tested, and so it makes the software more robust and reliable. And even after a while, when we need to change some logic or libraries or want to add another feature, it is easy. Make sure that our existing code hasn't been compromised by the changes if the tests are thorough. So now about the rock paper scissors application. In this we'll get to know a few concepts in GoLang with respect to test driven development. So there's a concept known as stable tests. Basically we take an array of structs, and each struct has the input and the expected output. So by looping over the array of structs, we check for each input output combination and check if the output from the function is same as the expected output. Then we pass the test, else we fail the test. Oftentimes we need to check for the console outputs, that if the output we expected is same as the output given by the function. So there are other ways to test this by changing the standard output to buffer the channel or something like that, but there's a simpler way in GoLang known as example tests. So we'll explore that as well. Then comes we can assign functions to certain data types, almost all kind of data types. So this is something we'll use to provide functionality to the choices to the choice of data type. We'll provide two functionalities. One is to compare it with the other choice. If let's say we want to check if rock is rock versus paper, who wins. So we'll provide a function for that, and then we'll add another function to convert it to string. I'll show you that how it works. Then we'll also use random number generator in GoLang. There's another library, math/rand, that is a pseudo random number generator, but in my experiments I found it had biases against one output. So I experimented with the crypto/rand. It worked better. So I'll show you how to work with this crypto/rand function library. Now let's check how the flow of our code would go. First we'll get the user input and check if it is valid or not, and we will convert it into the choice type. Then we'll get a random choice from the computer using our rand library, and then we'll print both the choices and display who is the round winner. And in displaying we will compare those choices, and if it's a draw, we will do nothing and just display the score. If user wins, we'll increase the user score and display the score, and if the computer wins, we'll increase the computer score and display the score. We'll continue doing this until any of the score is 3, and when any of the score is 3, we'll finally display the final score and the winner. So now let's start building the test. So let's say rock paper scissors _ test.go. So first we'll test a function that will display user input prompt. Display user input prompt. So for that we will need to employ the example test. So instead of test, we'll use example. So let's check this example test. So before running tests, we need to initialize this library as the Go module. The test failed because undefined user display prompt function. So we'll just create this function. So there shouldn't be any input in the example test as parameters. So it says wanted this, it failed. It got nothing. So if we simply now if we run this, it passed. So we want an extra. I think this should pass the test. Yeah, the test passed. So now we're good. So we have completed this first thing. Now we need to convert the input to choice type. So for that I wish to create another choice.go file where we'll create the choice, or maybe first we should create the test. So here I'll be creating a table test. I'll show you how it exactly works. First we'll create a list of structs, and this struct will have a user input which would be a string, and then it would have an output which would be of the choice type, which for now we haven't created yet, but we'll definitely create. So if the input is, let's say 1, we want the output to be rock. Rock has to be a constant of the type choice, which we haven't created yet, but let's make this test fail. So first we'll create a type choice, and it can be int. We only need basically 3 kinds of choices, so it's not worth to store a 32-bit or something larger integer. So now we'll declare 3 constant types of the type choice, and which would be iota. So now we created these. For the test, we need to loop through the tests. To convert this, we'll use the package string con. It's a standard package. A to I. It returns 2 values. One is int, and other is error. We'll also create another choice, which is error, which will help us to identify if there's an error in the function. So our logic was flawed. It showed the error. For test 1, expected this and got this. So now we'll make our tests more exhaustive. Let's see if this works. For test 5, it failed. 1, 2, 3, 4. it should have expected error but got 21. So we need to add some more checks before returning. Now let's check. Okay, this passed. Now we need to add a few more checks that ensure that if there are some bleeding or trailing spaces, then also it should extract out the right kind of choice. So now it fails. So to ensure this, so this will trim all this leading and trailing spaces and new line characters and tab spaces. So let's see if this works now. Yeah, now all the tests pass. So now we have created a function to convert input choice to choice. So but if you see here, if any of our tests, suppose we fail a test, the output as shown in here is not much readable. It says expected 0 got 3. So a more readable format would have been it expected drop got error or something, 3 is error, right? So to do this we'll implement a string function. Now let's see if the error output is more readable. For test 7, expected drop got error. This is a better way. So for this I implemented this string function. Okay, after getting the user input, we have to generate a random number. So to test random functions, we will call the new random function from 100 times. First we'll create a map. So to use a crypto-ran, first we'll import that library. So here's how we use the crypto/ran function. Here we defined that we need a random integer, and this is the default reader. We'll just pass in this, and then we'll define the maximum number that we need. So we need values from 0, 1 and 2. So it gives the result in the big int form, and then we'll convert into int, and then Adi will convert the output to choice. So let's see if this function works. So after this we need to check that if all the values are almost uniformly distributed. So now we have got the random number. Then to print this we need to add another function in the choice which can compare the two choices. So for this also we'll form a table test. So when we compare choice 1 and choice 2, the output should be like A minus B. If B is greater, the output should be negative, and if A is greater, then output should be positive. So the expected output for from choice dot compare is 0, 1, minus 1. So we'll call the compare function in the ch1 and pass in the choice 2, and the output should be as good as choice 1 minus choice 2. So this will anyways fail because we haven't implemented this compare function. So let's go and implement this function. If c equals c2, simply return 0. Okay, so the test passed. Now we have to print the choices and the round winner. For that, we have to create an example test because we have to check the console output. So we haven't implemented this function, so it had to fail. So now we need to implement this function. So now we display these things, but we also need to ensure that the scores are increased. We also need to print score. Yes. The error was because this is small, this is capital, this is small, and this is capital. Okay, so now we are able to print this ground winner and implement it, and we are able to display the score. Now now we'll implement the main function. Let's say we create a main function start game, and it loops while display user input prompt. Then we'll get the input. So this will go on, and then we'll show the final result as तो इस पूरे को उठा के RPS में डाल देते हैं एंड यहाँ पर एक मेन डॉट को बना देते हैं। तो अब बस हम लोग को ये मेन फंक्शन को रन करना है। यहाँ पे प्लीज एंटर अ चॉइस। लेट्स से मैंने 1 चूज किया, आई चूज रॉक, कंप्यूटर चूज पेपर, कंप्यूटर 1। लेट्स से पेपर, दोनों ने पेपर चूज किया, स्कोर इज 0-1। यू चूज scissors, computer chose paper. It should have been you won, not. There's some error in the logic. Oh, has error. Sorry about that. Computer 1. So here's our little game. I hope you learned something out of it. Thanks for watching.